Representing New Zealand at the World Championships will be the reward for outstanding performances from New Zealand's best swimmers at the 2017 National Championships in Auckland. The standards to meet are tough, extremely tough, but some have already reached them, and there could be more qualifiers tonight in this third session of finals. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Owen Glen National Aquatic Centre for night 3 of finals here at the National Swimming Championships. And the great news is, everyone, that this morning in the heats we had another 2 swimmers who reached qualifying standards for the World Championships in Budapest in July. So really, Mark Bone, that takes the list now to 6, doesn't it? And there could be more tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see 2 fresh faces. Previously from tonight, they were all Olympians. Now we've got 2 fresh faces, and Sam Perry and also Gabriel Fahamasili, both in the 50 freestyle.
So and there's the list we have now. 50 metres butterfly, Helena Gasson, the first of our qualifiers, then Corey Main, Emma Robinson, Matthew Stanley, and as Mark has mentioned, Sam Perry and Gabriel Fahamasili this morning. We'll see them again tonight. We have a look at the program for tonight. We have 8 full races, finals, and also we have 4 para events, and the possibility is that more times will be reached, won't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we're going to see that in the 200 individual medley and Bradley Ashby, and the women's 200 medley with Helena Gasson. We also then switch into what I think is going to be an outstanding swim in the 50 freestyle, particularly the men's. You've got Daniel Hunter, the New Zealand record holder, versus Sam Perry, who qualified this morning. And then the women's 50 metres freestyle, will it be a New Zealand record with Gabriel Fahamasili just outside that this morning? The men's 100 metres backstroke, boy, that's going to be a great swim by Corey Main. He's already qualified in the 200. And then we go to the women's 100 backstroke, and it's going to be a great race between Gabriel Fahamasili and Bobby Gishard.
And we end with the men's 800 metres freestyle final, and there may well be a surprise in that as well, another qualifiers. Well, working tonight on poolside for the first time at these National Championships in place of Ian Jones is Glenn Lama, and he's working alongside Lauren Boyle. Hi, Glenn.
Well, thanks, John. Yes, lucky to have Lauren Boyle here again tonight with us. And Lauren, so many near misses in the heats this morning. What is the big challenge for the swimmers to turn those near misses into successes?
Well, this morning we did have a lot of people go very close to the qualifying time, but I think that'll give them a lot of confidence going into tonight's finals, and I hope they use the atmosphere to really push themselves along.
And what about the mental challenge too? Because some of these things can play on swimmers' minds, turning that into a success as well. What about that facet?
Well, we know when we go to the World Champs it's going to be a stressful environment, so I think recreating that stress here at the Nationals will prepare them really well.
All right, and what about any particular race you're looking forward to tonight?
Really looking forward to the men's 50 freestyle. It's the first time we've had such top talent in this event, and it will be a very close race between Sam Perry and Daniel Hunter.
Good on you, Lauren. Thanks for that. So it's time to get into the action, folks. Let's get up to John.
Yes, a great setup there, and some nice comments from Lauren Boyle. It's great to have her expertise here poolside, helping Glenn along. And of course, I'm with Mark Bone, and we're looking forward to some fantastic races tonight. And I know when we chatted just a moment ago, Mark, about the possibility of other qualifiers, sometimes we say that and we're a little bit over-optimistic, but tonight you just get that feeling that these swimmers are online, aren't they? Some of them are just ready to qualify.
I think you did right about that. But we have to go back as well. This is a tough qualifying situation. You have to be in the top 16 in the world in a very global sport. And so it's not going to be a big team. And there is going to be near misses, and that's the reality of it. And, of course, the pressure of the fact that they have to do it at this meet is going to create that an environment where there will be near misses and disappointment. But let's hope that there is going to be some great races. We saw that last night. There was some misses, but there were some great races. And, I guess at the end of the day, we want to see great racing, and that great racing will then eventually bring out the best in swimmers.
Well, you saw there the qualifying standard for the women's 400 metres freestyle. It's 4:10.57. The best of the swimmers is Olympian Emma Robinson, who's already qualified in the longer distance, so she'll start in lane 4, and alongside her, Karina Doyle. On the other side, Hayley McIntosh. The starters for the first event tonight, the 400 metres freestyle women's A final. So Emma Robinson, she trains out of the Gold Coast from Wellington, the capital club, and she's wearing that New Zealand cap, which she wore, of course, in the Olympics in Rio. and the gold medalist in the 800 metres freestyle, where she did qualify for the Olympics, and alongside her, Karina Doyle, who won the 200 metres freestyle. So very good quality swimmers here.
This is going to be the challenge here, John. You got Karina Doyle, winner of the 200 freestyle, versus Emma Robinson, winner of the 800, speed versus endurance.
.400 free for women. In the centre of the pool is Emma Robinson of the Capital Club. Several times New Zealand representative through the ages. She's just 22, training out of the Gold Coast in Australia, and it was from there that she managed to qualify for the Olympic Games last year. Already qualified in the longer distance for the World Championships, but this 400 metres freestyle qualifying standard of 4:10.57 might just be a bit beyond her capability. She's already qualified, so she'll be relaxed out there.
Yeah, she is a traditional 800-metre freestyler, and you've got on the lane number 5, you've got Karina Doyle, as we've said, the winner of the 200 freestyle. But another one to watch is Hayley McIntosh in lane number 3, a member of the High Performance Centre that trains out of this pool, and I think that you know, she's really on great form, so she's going to be one that we will just keep an eye on. But I'm surprised that Emma Robinson is already taking them out. We want to see them go through in 1:00, 1:01, there or thereabouts. So 1:00.84, that's a pretty good split over the first 100 metres.
Karina Doyle touched in second place, and Hayley McIntosh from North Wave, who was second to Robinson in the longer distance, the 800 metres freestyle, in which she set a 17-year New Zealand age group record. So a look at them heading back down the pool for the third 50. It is Robinson in front. To her right is McIntosh, and to her left is Doyle. Those are the first three, with Monique King not far adrift in fourth place. So Robinson, Doyle, McIntosh, they turn with 150 gone.
So 8 lengths of the pool, so we're coming up now to the 200-metre mark as they touch next time on the turn end of the pool. But Emma Robinson looks really aggressive the way she's stroking out there. You'll notice that she flicks into a 2-beat kick. Just having a look at the feet there, so there's not a lot of acceleration out of her legs, but this is very symbolic of what a lot of distance swimmers are doing today. Of course, Ledecky, who is the world record holder in just all of these events, the 200, 400, 800 metres freestyle. So 2:04 through the first 200 metres. That's exactly on target, even if you have a look at that. So she needs to come home in 2:06 over the latter stages of the last 200 metres. So she is on target. A very good swim also, as we've indicated, from the High Performance Centre, Hayley McIntosh in lane number 3. She's starting to really assert herself into second position.
The New Zealand record is 4:03.63. That was set by Lauren Boyle, who's poolside and watching this and giving some of her information, insight into this race on poolside with Glenn Lama. You can hear them bellowing away in the background, no doubt. There's Emma Robinson. Now she's just starting to reassert here, just edging away from McIntosh to her left.
So she needs to be at 3 minutes and 7 seconds if she wants to have a shot over that last 100. It looks as if it's just pulling away from her. We sort of didn't really target this event for her, but it's going to be interesting to see where she's at. She's just a couple of seconds off that, so that means she has to come home in a 1:01, and it's probably just beyond the realms of possibilities here.
But the national championship, the national title is at stake here, and Robinson is hunting that as well. And she has been really one of the most consistent of the female swimmers for a long time now. Once she cracked that New Zealand team, she stayed there. She's always met the qualifying standards, and she has represented New Zealand exceptionally well. Emma Robinson turns first. Second place is Hayley McIntosh. Doyle is third, and Monique King in fourth place.
Oh no, it's actually Georgia Maris in fourth place, John, and look at her moving up right over in lane number 1. Just the far side, she's probably a little bit isolated and the others won't see her, but she's finishing very strong. But let's have a look at the winner. That it is definitely going to be Emma Robinson in lane number 4. She's led from the start. 4 minutes 10.5 is the qualifying time.
That's a very good swim though from Emma Robinson, a 4:12.61. So she shows that she's in fantastic form. Emma Robinson, we believed really that qualifying standard might have been a bit beyond her, but 4 minutes 10.57 for the University Games. The World Championship qualifying time, but 4:16 for the World University Games. Emma Robinson, right from the start, asserted herself. McIntosh stayed close by and finished in second place. A good finish from her too.
Just a little bit laboured, and that's probably also reflective of this as a distance event. A little bit laboured going around in the turns. Needs to stay a little bit more compact and get around a little bit quicker. But a lovely finish there by Georgia Maris to get third.
400 metres freestyle for women, the A final, and it's been won by Olympian Emma Robinson in a time of 4:12.61. 17-year-old Hayley McIntosh in second place at 4:14, and Georgia Maris did move up into third place ahead of Karina Doyle. The women's 400 metres freestyle. That's our first race of the night on this, the third night of finals. And as I mentioned earlier, 8 finals tonight, plus B finals. And then also some swimmers as well.
So this is Bradley Ashby's parents that we've got in the picture right now. Of course, they'll be very tentatively looking forward to their son swimming later on in the 200 individual medley.
50 metres freestyle for men. And we cannot help but say how over the years while we've been commentating here on Sky for the national championships, how much depth we're seeing with the talent in the para competitors. There's the 4 swimmers in the men's 50 metres freestyle. You see the different categories or classifications, and we'll explain that for you a little bit later on.
So Chris Abernathy here, he's the most decorated of these 4 in the final.
So he's an S9 category or classification. So is Yayan Edwards, who's a 14-year-old swimming in lane 3. So he's on the far side, the right as we look at it. Kaylin Edwards is in lane 5, and Ethan Sionopolu is in 6. So this is the first of our para events tonight, the men's 50 metres freestyle.
Beautiful start by Abernathy, just fantastic. It's interesting to see him streamline under the water when you've only got the one arm really to be able to use, but very effective. And just look how fast he's going through this 50 metres. He holds the New Zealand record at 27.17.
Well, he did a 27.79 so this morning. He was faster than that in the final tonight. So that's excellent form from Chris Arbuthnot from Icebreaker, coached by Simon Main. And he's in good form here, Chris Arbuthnot, Yayan Edwards and Kaylin Edwards, both from the Selwyn Club, coached by Ben Close, and Ethan Sionopolu of St Paul's, coached by Carl Gordon. They're the 4 who have swum the men's para 50 metres. And really, you picked it, Mark, a very good start and very streamlined in the water.
Yeah, it really was a tight streamline in there. But also, John, he's got a real factor here that he has to time the finish so well, because he's got to finish on that left arm. Obviously, you can't finish on the shorter arm, the arm that's impaired, and that's another thing that he has to think about.
27.63, good time by Arbuthnot. And the Edwards, Kaylin and Yayan second and third, and Ethan Sionopolu in 4th place. So I mentioned that we would be chatting to you about, just so you can understand a little bit easier, the classifications for para swimmers. The sports classes, they all have a special letter. For example, there's the S for freestyle, butterfly and backstroke, SM for medley, obviously, swimming, I mean S for swimming, swimming medley, swimming breaststroke. Those are those letters that you'll see, and then you also will have a number associated with it. So from 1 to 10, that's involved with physical impairment, and when you're down in sort of the 1s and 2s and 3s, the lower numbers, that indicates the more severe handicap that the swimmers do have. And then you move on to 11 to 13. That is visual impairment, and we see that with the likes of Mary Fisher. Swimmers with visual impairment with an 11 means a complete or nearly complete loss of sight. So that's 11 to 13, and then we have a letter followed by 14. That is intellectual impairment, and they all swim within that classification. So it's really quite simple when you see it like that, and you'll understand we see a lot of S9s, for example, swimmers with a disability of ranging 1 to 11, as we've talked about, and 9 is at the lesser end of the impairment. So here we see the women's 50 metres freestyle, and you see there Sophie Pascoe, sorry, an S10, Jane Fox an S14. So we go back to that, that's the intellectual disability for Jane Fox, an S14.
So at a national championship here, John, they all swim together, but of course when they go to like Rio for the Paralympics, they're actually broken down into their own categories, and so they're only racing their own categories.
Yeah. So that's right. You can be fifth or last in a race, but you might still win it on as a reassess too.
At these national championships, yes, that's correct.
One of the most well-known faces in New Zealand sport, Sophie Pascoe in lane 4.
3 gold medals at the Paralympics, 1 world record.
And she's in great frame of mind too. We had a chat to her earlier on tonight, and Mark certainly spent some time with her, but here we're watching this fantastic form of Sophie Pascoe. 50 metres freestyle.
But she never gets off the blocks very well, and that's because of her own impairment. But once she gets into the water, that is just absolutely picture-perfect swimming. Her and her coach have just a wonderful relationship.
Sophie Pascoe, 28.35. So this morning she went at 28.97, so faster as she does all the time. Heats followed by a faster final.
On her own admission too, she's only just got back into the pool and back into training. She's had so many commitments after Rio, and you can understand she's so decorated that everybody wants a piece of the action of Sophie Pascoe.
So, and we had a look, we didn't see all the swimmers. It was a very quick swim, of course, but we see down here in lane 7 in the grey, that's Rebecca Dubber, who was at the Rio Olympics, finishing with a bronze medal in the 100 backstroke.
Now you can see Sophie here just doesn't come out in front, but she immediately asserts herself, and she wins quite easily. Here off the blocks, she just falls in. That's about as much spring as she's able to get off the blocks, but boy, in the water, once she's in there, she's just beautiful.
She's a killer in the water, that's for sure. Sophie Pascoe cruises in, touches, looks up, and there's the result. Sophie Pascoe, 28.35, and that was another fine swim from Naufi. She's really impressing every year we see her. Jane Fox finishing 3rd and 34.38.
Well, that's a New Zealand record too for Jane Fox.
Outstanding. Olivia Upston, Siobhan Terry, Rebecca Dubber, Melissa Donahue and Kate McKelvey. That's the women's 50 metres freestyle para swim. The next event is one that we're very much looking forward to. It's a 200 metres individual medley, the final for men. And in this race, we'll see the man who really is stepping up as possibly our leading male swimmer for the next few years. That's Bradley Ashby. We did see his parents in the grandstand earlier. This is the lineup then for the men's 200 metres individual medley. Matthew Phillips, Jacob Garrett, Jonathan Rutter in 3, then Ashby in 4, alongside Andrew Trembath, who's in very good form, and the outstanding 17-year-old making a big impact this year, Lewis Clareburt, Callum Prime and Cameron Blair. So what do you expect from Bradley Ashby tonight?
Well, he holds the New Zealand record. I'm expecting him to qualify for the World Championships. That's what I want to see. He's an Olympian now. He performed extremely well at the Olympics for his first major international competition, but he just looks good.
Trembath, who's also in the high-performance squad, he's very, very good.
Great backstroker, just a really good backstroker, Trembath, and you'll see him dominate or start to assert himself in the second length.
And then in lane 6, as we saw last night, Lewis Clareburt second in the 400 free and in the 400 individual medley after an outstanding age group championships.
Oh, just last night he was outstanding.
Yeah. The New Zealand record stands at 159.76, and it's held by the man swimming in lane 4, Bradley Ashby. The World Championship qualifying time is 2 minutes .22, and Ashby certainly is quite capable of going under that. Is he on form tonight? He has been certainly this morning and in previous nights swimming at the National Championships, and he leads out well and strongly, 25.8 first 50.
I think that's a good split for him. It's a slightly slower split than what he set this morning, but I think that it's just a little bit more relaxed. Now, he's a beautiful backstroker. See how he holds his body position extremely well. You don't see water coming over the face, and he's lifting his shoulders up. That's the important thing. So he's right on the line. We're wanting to see a 56.3 over the 100 metres, 56.3 to 56.4 in that sort of zone. If we can see that, we're going to see him going close to that qualifying. 56.8, he's got a little bit of work to do, but he's a very good breaststroker as well. He's so competent in all of these strokes.
Well, he really picked it up. That second 50 had him a body length, nearly 2 body lengths ahead of the rest. Trembath, Rutter, Clareburt, all trailing behind him, and they still are. So Ashby is going to have to do this on his own. He's used to that at events in New Zealand, but he really is in such hot form. What do we want to see at 150?
Well, I'd like to see him do a 131 and then come home extremely strong over the last 50 metres. Well, he's under there, 130.9, so he's on target. He's just got to finish this freestyle. He let it go last night in the 400 individual medley. What will he do now with about 25 metres still to go?
Outstanding Bradley Ashby from the Fairfield Club, a Rio Olympian last year, chasing a qualifying time of 2 minutes .22. He's coming home strongly. He's catching that line. Is he going to get there? Watch that clock. It's 2 minutes. It is fantastic. A new New Zealand record, 159.54, and also a qualifying time for the World Championships. A stunning last 50 from Bradley Ashby. A stunning race.
A stunning race. I think that he judged it perfectly. He went out the first 100 a little bit slower, but he brought it home. That last 50 metres of his freestyle, in fact, really, his last 25 metres was just unbelievably good. And so that is also a reward for the High Performance Centre now, because they are really talking big things about the coaching that's going on here in the Millennium Institute at the High Performance Centre. Beautiful start there. He's a lovely butterflyer. He didn't go out as hard as what he did this morning. He looked more relaxed, and I think that that was a reflection in the end. Backstroke, look at the good breathing position here, just taking in the breaths when he can throughout this stroke, making sure that the shoulders lift up and he gets that little bow wave where he's able to. Then into his freestyle, he holds his breath going into the wall, a lovely lunge, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And it means a lot.
Well, it's a double celebration. It's a World Championship and a New Zealand record. And Mum's just thrilled. She's letting everybody know. Dad's disappeared.
159.54, New Zealand record. Qualifying standard met for Bradley Ashby. A stunning swim too by young Lewis Clareburt, who came up to take second place in 2:04.30. Jonathan Rutter, 2:04.52. They are the first three in what was a very good race, particularly the performance of Bradley Ashby in the 200 individual medley. Well, if he's caught his breath, it's a big night, because that's our first national record here at this meet, and now Bradley Ashby is with Glenn.
Well, Brad, congratulations. You're off to the World Champs in Hungary, mate. Well done.
Thank you, yeah.
What does it mean to you?
Just getting that time this morning wasn't the greatest swim. It was on point with some of the splits, just didn't have that endurance. Had a big day yesterday, so to come out tonight and then do a PB, go into the time, I knew I had it in me, so it was just a matter of putting it together.
Standing swim at the end there, you needed to really dig deep on that last breaststroke and freestyle legs, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I turned back to breast, felt really good going in the breaststroke, and then just went from there.
You're broken your national record as well.
Yeah, it's always good going personal best times, and that's what we're here to do.
Good on you, Bradley. Congratulations. Great achievement. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, and he's right. You come to the national championships to break your best times, don't you? That's what swimmers are all aiming for. They don't often always achieve it, but he has tonight.
Yeah, and John, you indicated earlier that this young man could be the face of New Zealand swimming going forward, and I think you're right. I think he's actually made a statement about that just in that event.
Well, the standard's been set. New Zealand record is now up there. Look, Bradley Ashby up very quickly. Well done to our graphics team to get that up there. 1:59.54. New Zealand record. And now the B finalists will be led by Cortland Ellis, who swam very well in a B final last night. I'm just trying to think. I think he won a B final. Jason Smeets, Shaquille Vautua, Max Kennedy-Till, Cortland Ellis, Hamish Trillin, Jack Kelleher, Thomas Moot and George Dorrington. So Cortland Ellis was the 9th fastest of the swimmers in the heats this morning. So he is the fastest qualifier amongst these B finalists. And their aim, of course, is to swim faster than some of those in the final, which we've already seen. This is the B final in the men's 200 metres individual medley. In the A final, we've seen a New Zealand record and a qualifying time by Bradley Ashby. Now it's up to these swimmers to show that they should have been in the final, the A final.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, for some of these athletes, they're only young. There's a number of 17-year-olds in here, and it's possibly their first chance to swim at a national championships. A year earlier, only 16, probably a little bit young, particularly as males, to come to national championships. But they're now having a chance to be in the B final. Next year, they need to come back and assert themselves and get into the A final.
Hamish Trillin from the Capital Club. He was the man who turned first at the 50. They go into the backstroke, and now we see Ellis. That's him in the yellow cap. Oh, sorry, no, that's Trillin in the blue cap now we're watching. Lane 4, Cortland Ellis. Cortland Ellis of Neptune. Yeah, there he touches now. Sorry, I'm looking the wrong way just for a change. Don't often make mistakes, do I, mate?
Yeah, but just to explain the green line that you're seeing there. So if we look at the 8 finalists that were in there, the green line indicates the slowest of those 8 finalists to get into the final. So if they can go ahead of that, that means that they're actually breaking into the top 8. And that's important. The top 8 go through to the final, and this is the 9th fastest swimmer that we're seeing in lane number 4 here now.
Wow, this is a stunning breaststroke.
Yeah, well, he's actually looked very good right through. It's a little bit tight in his butterfly, but the backstroke and in particular the breaststroke is just beautiful.
Oh, he's turned well advanced on the rest. Nearly 3 seconds ahead. This is very good from Cortland Ellis of Neptune. He's 17 years of age. And with this sort of form, you would expect that he might well be swimming in the previous race this time next year.
Yeah, just notice he's moving around in the lane fair bit, which is something that you want to try and mitigate against. You want to try and swim down that centre line just to hold your form and also your alignment in terms of a straight line. You can move to the side of the lane if you've got a swimmer that's out in front of you, and you can do a little bit of streaming off them. But a good swim, very good swim.
There's our winner in the blue and yellow Neptune cap from Otago, from the Neptune Club, Cortland Ellis. He's doing his stretch beforehand. Seeing a replay of this, looking very good right throughout with.
Yeah, beautiful breaststroke, very, very good breaststroke.
And a nice touch as well. It's got to be finished off, cap it off with a really good touch.
Cap it off from Capital. That was well done, John.
Yeah, yeah. So the B final, the 200 metres individual medley. We are moving on now to our next race. Again, as we mentioned, these A finalists all looking at qualifying for the World Championships. the music pumps up and the crowd looks to its left as the swimmers come out from behind the big curtains there where the warm-up pool, warm-up, warm-down pool is situated. That's behind those big sheets there. Come out onto the starting area, go through their procedures, and this is the women's 200 metres individual medley with all eyes really on Helena Gasson. She has qualified in the 50 metres butterfly for the World Championships, but this is an event that she would dearly love to crack that time. She went 2:13.99 this morning, and the qualifying time is 2:13.41. So Gasson in lane 4.
John, often when swimmers from, you see your teammates actually qualify earlier, you get really, really pumped up. And it'll be interesting whether Helena Gasson can feed off that. A tremendous swim by Bradley Ashby earlier on.
So Helena Gasson, first in the 50 fly, first in the 100 fly. And this is Gina McCarthy, who's at 14 years of age, who had an outstanding National Age Group Championship where she won golds in the 50 breast and the 400 IM. And she is swimming in lane 5. Mary Tate of United, we see over there in lane 3. So Caitlin Dean's in 1. Asia Minnis of Canada is in 2. And down at the bottom here, Jess Igo, Ali Eastwood and Claire Burgess. National title at stake here in the 200 metres individual medley for women. And the swimmer that we're all watching very closely has already made her move. Helena Gasson in lane 4.
Oh, John, she is the New Zealand record holder in the 50 metres butterfly, so this is her favourite event. Well, I shouldn't say this is her favourite event. Her favourite event is the butterfly as an individual swim, but she's a beautiful medley swimmer. Now, I think she'll go out very strong over the first 50 metres in 28.06, so that's 0.2 of a second faster than what she this morning in the heats.
In lane 5, but all eyes on Helena Gasson. She's not the national champion here. Chloe Francis won this last year, but Gasson is not the New Zealand record holder either. Natalie Vigersma with a 2:12.12.
I'm very impressed the way Gasson's swimming this. She's looking very strong from the start. Beautiful first 50 butterfly, a great backstroke leg, and she's held it up in this breaststroke. I didn't really rate her breaststroke, but she's putting it together really nicely.
Turns with 50 to go. It's the freestyle. Helena Gasson.
John, she's definitely on target. That's a wonderful split, 140.8. I think that she's going to do this quite easily because she's strong enough, she's fit enough, and she just needs to bring it home.
Here she goes, chasing those lines, looking for World Championship qualifying time. Come on, you're reaching, reach, come on, proud to bring her home. Helena Gasson, qualifying time, 2:13.14.
So that's qualified, and that's a fantastic swim by Helena. So that's another individual swim, the 200 individual medley, to add to her 50 metres butterfly.
Very good. She's got the smile of someone who's full of relief as well as excitement because it's touch and go. She had to really perform consistently throughout all the strokes. And you could see as a viewer how tantalizingly close that mark was, and she had to reach for it.
Lovely start, very good streamline as she goes into the water. Clean there, just a few surges of bubbles, but a very clean entry. Great butterfly. Look at the reach that she's getting in those arms. So here she is, continuous, beautiful stroke rating. And at breaststroke, I was really impressed with the way she put the breaststroke leg together. Just a little surge there, comes up on top of the stroke. And it was just a nail-biting finish, wasn't it? She was chasing that line and she got to it in the end. Love to see her finish a little bit more on her side, but you can see the delight. And what's important is that she stepped up. She's actually done it in the finals evening.
Helena Gasson confirmed as another qualifying standard being broken or matched, bettered. 2:13.14. Georgina McCarthy, a 2:21.25. Good swim from her at 14 years of age. And third was Mary Tate of United. They are the first three. And again, it's Helena Gasson creating headlines here, Glenn.
Yeah, but Helena, that's the second event, of course, you've qualified for now. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, look, to be honest, I don't know if you're aware, you were behind that white line in that freestyle league halfway down the pool by quite some distance. You brought it home very impressively.
Yeah, well, my freestyle was the bit that didn't quite go to plan this morning, so I was really focusing on improving that leg of the race.
Well, you're going to be busy in Budapest, aren't you? 2 events now. So what does that mean to you to have 2 events over there?
I'm hoping to get more than 2, but yeah, I'm really happy about that.
You love the hard work by the sound of it, eh?
Yeah, no, I do enjoy the longer distances as well, so yeah, definitely in for some hard work.
Well, congratulations, wonderful effort, great swim, well done.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, she can deserve to smile, and the crowd applauds that. They can see a young woman who's really tried exceptionally hard. She's thrown everything at it. She had a stunning national championships last year and the previous year. So she is now 22 years of age, and she holds the New Zealand record in the 100 and 200 butterfly. And now she's qualified for 2 events at the World Championships.
This is Daniel Hunter's dad. He's obviously praying.
Yeah,
Knows his son's coming up in pretty soon in the 50 metres freestyle.
Well, he's been through this before, and we'll talk about that soon because the men's 50 free is coming up. But there was a split second between qualifying for the Olympics and not, and the Hunters have been through it a year ago, and it might well be seeking a bit of guidance from up top. Here we have 200 metres individual medley B final for women, and the list features Annabelle McLaren and Phoebe Harris, Teokura from North Shore, Jenna Buchanan, Chapman, Ferguson, Hamilton and Kedzo. That's the B final.
Gosh, 4 15-year-olds, a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
it's a young field.
So in lane 4, Jenna Buchanan is at the advanced age of 23, as she stands head and shoulders above the rest. Nikki Chapman in lane 5 is 19, and the rest are all pretty much 15 and 14-year-olds. So Buchanan in the bright green in lane 4. B final, 200 IM. Well, you sort of wonder what the previous swims by the individual medley swimmers here does to these swimmers as they prepare for it. It possibly doesn't affect them at all. They'll be delighted, I suppose, for those that have cracked it, but they've got their own races to swim.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, when you're on the national team, you have a real camaraderie and you enjoy seeing success. And success creates future success as well. And I think that just gels them along.
Jenna Buchanan coming to the end of the fly, the first 50 metres of this 200 individual medley at 30.94. Teokura is in second place, and Chapman, so it's going lanes 4, 3 and 5 at the moment as they swing into the backstroke, and this is where Buchanan starts to edge out.
Well, it's very much an arrow formation, and that's the traditional model of the swimming. We'll see always lane 4, the fastest qualifier. You'll notice here Buchanan, as she puts her hand into the water, there's a little stop there on her right hand in the blue cap onto the left-hand side of our screen. So her hand goes in, it just stops. That's not good. She wants to get her hand down and catch that water a little bit quicker. And that's probably why the other girls on each side of her have caught her over the backstroke leg.
Yes, they have. In fact, Teokura might well have turned in first place. Buchanan, Chapman, all there, and Kim Kedzo of Greerton in lane 8 was also up there in the top 4. Now into the breaststroke, and it's Nikki Chapman.
Yeah, the 19-year-old from the Howick Pakuranga Club, but also coming back now as Buchanan in the breaststroke league, because the medley is 4 disciplines and you've got to put them all together. If you're a traditional breaststroker, this is when you start to push this pace, and we're seeing that right now in lane number 2, the young 15-year-old also from the Howick Pakuranga Club, and Phoebe Harris.
Yes, we see way up towards the top there. She may touch in second place. And a turn first, though, from Nikki Chapman. The second was Harris, I think, by my eyesight.
Yes, she did turn in second place, John, and so that was a great swim, and she's holding on. She's actually working very well, the young 15-year-old.
Back to the centre of the pool here, Nikki Chapman. And she turned in first place, but way up in the top there in lane 2, Phoebe Harris, and the white cap is holding in there. She's looking likely. Phoebe Harris in lane 2, Chapman finishing strongly, and Buchanan in the middle of them all. Who gets there? It is Harris out of lane 2. Excellent swim by this Howick Pakuranga swimmer, age 15. And she looks up at the board and is a wry smile as she sees her name there in first place. Excellent swim by Phoebe Harris, 2:28.01. She wins the women's B final.
It's sort of ironic, isn't it? The young 15-year-old from the Howick Pakuranga club just rolled the 19-year-old, also from the same club, in Nikki Chapman in that last stroke or so. But we saw her creep up over that breaststroke leg, and of course that's where the fortunes can change so quickly. So Buchanan dominating over the first 50 metres. The others just all caught her. There was a lineup there of 3 swimmers. At this stage, we don't even see Harris, way off the picture. So this is Chapman, who finished in second. We're still seeing Chapman, then suddenly on the other side, Harris just sneaks in.
Ah, she finished well too.
She did. The youth. Sort of a...
She is a very happy young woman, and she wins the B final in 2:28.01. Nikki Chapman second, and Jenna Buchanan third. That's the 200 individual medley for women, the B final. Oh, we mentioned that we've had some more qualifiers, those that happened this morning in the heats, and one of those, as Mark mentioned in our introduction, a non-Olympic swimmer, and he's Sam Perry, and he's just chatting now about what it felt like this morning.
Sam, you spend most of your time training at the university in California, Stanford University. How would you say your college experience has been?
It's been awesome for me. The decision to go over there was, it's been a really good one for me so far. I'm really happy with how things are going. They make it really easy to combine school and swimming, and it's been paying off.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it pay off. This morning you qualified for the World Championship team in the 50 metres freestyle. What would you say about your form in the big sprint?
Well, I took a couple of butterfly races to warm up into this meet, and the main focus was always the 50 free and the 100 free. I'm really happy to have got the time. I knew I had the swim in me, and it's good that I managed to put it together.
And now you've qualified, how do you think tonight will go?
Who knows? I'm just going to get out there and do my best again, and hopefully me and Daniel can both get under that time and perhaps under his record. It'll be nice.
Yeah, I think it's the first time we've had 250 freestylers be so competitive and so close to such a world-class time. So how do you find having someone there to push you in New Zealand?
Oh, absolutely. It's huge. It's awesome. And I love racing Dan. We get really into it. We're good friends outside of the pool. I've been on a few trips with him, and yeah, it's great. It really helps a lot.
That's great. Awesome. Good luck for tonight.
Yes, well, we're looking forward to that. Just another of our star young swimmers coming through. Sam Perry, based at, as Lauren said, at Stanford University. Well, we've had medal ceremonies right throughout the competition, of course, and last night, at the end of a night which was interspersed by darkness here, we had some of the medal ceremonies, starting with the men's 400 metres individual medley. Ian Jones doing some as well. Sophie Pascoe, she was the only one in that race. So this is Helena Gasson receiving her gold after the 100 fly. And the other swimmers there were Lee and Maris. And there's Perry receiving his 100 butterfly. So it's really always great. The swimmers all turn up. There was a time when they wouldn't, and now they do. They are obliged really to turn up and accept their medals. Our next swim will be the men's 50 metres freestyle. We've had some stunning swims already, and if you've just joined us, we've seen Bradley Ashby and Helena Gasson both go under qualifying standards for the World Championships on this, the third night of finals at the 2017 Open Swimming Championships. And this man here is really on edge. This is the father of Daniel Hunter, and Daniel Hunter will be swimming in the next race, the 50 metres freestyle. I mean, he's not swimming it by himself. He's swimming it alongside Sam Perry, who has qualified for the World Championships. And so those are the men's 50 metres freestyle. That's next, followed by the B final. The women's 50 metres freestyle is also full of excitement, with Gabrielle Falmer-Seeley looking to perhaps break the New Zealand record. And there we have the men and women's 100 backstroke, followed at the end of the night by the men's 800 metres freestyle. That's something we can we'll talk about too, isn't it, Mark? The 800 freestyle, because Matthew Hutchins is really in good form.
Oh yeah, you look at their program. You know, I'm just excited because this is, you know, you got the splash and dash to the 800. So you've got from one end of the spectrum the fastest men in the pool and the fastest women in the pool. Right now, this is the big event. This is one that we're really, really excited about.
That's a New Zealand record holder, Daniel Hunter. He set that here last year, 2016. He's swimming out of lane 5 because he wasn't the fastest qualifier. The fastest qualifier was Sam Perry in lane 4, in which he qualified.
Yeah, but 1/100th of a second was the separation between these two. This is the New Zealand record holder.
Let's have a look at this. Florent Janin, who's a visitor from New Caledonia, then Michael Finlay, Julian Weir, then Perry and Hunter, Daniel Corbull, Joshua Greening and Chris McFadden. That's the starting lineup. We don't mean to dismiss any of the other swimmers here, but the attention really will focus on Perry and Hunter. It's a 50-metre freestyle. It's a mad dash. Breathe once, perhaps, in the middle of the race, and that's it. But they are chasing a time of 22.47.
And just no chance for error. That's what you've got to do when you swim the 50 metres freestyle. You talk about 1/100th of a second separating them. Hunter missed the Olympics by 1/100th of a second this time last year.
And by 1/100th of a second this morning.
Correct. I hope that doesn't come home to haunt him.
It's got to be a big start. They're very tall men. Sam Perry in lane 4, already qualified, relaxed. The crowd roars. Hunter in lane 5. They hit the halfway.
Hunter looks fantastic.
In lane 4, Perry. In lane 5, Hunter. Hunter has the edge at the moment. It's the time they're looking for. The time. They've got it. They've got it. They've got it. Hunter and Perry. Hunter, 22.39. Under the qualifying standard. And at last, he cracks the big time, Daniel Hunter. All that potential and so many near misses. Oh, well, looking up to see his father up in the stand, I think he's fainted. Daniel Hunter and Sam Perry, a brilliant race, and one in which they pushed each other to the limit.
Yeah, it was, look, if divine intervention was such, that was it. Liam Ward, one of New Zealand's young triathletes here, right beside Daniel Hunter's dad, but they're obviously delighted. They went through school together, but this is Daniel Hunter. Fantastic start. I didn't think he came out of the what we call the breakout. If you have a look at him, he just sort of floats up. He doesn't. So he's broken the water without exploding out of it. But once he got into his stroke, he just looked so powerful and so dominant. Just have a look at the bow waves that each of them are creating and the turbulence of that water. That's what the 50 metres freestyle will do. Tied up a little bit at the end. Perry came back at him. Perry did come back. But you watch the surge of water as it hits the touch pads at the very end of the surge of water that comes back off them. But as they said earlier, they're teammates and they've been really, really comfortable together.
22.39, 22.69 for Perry, who'd already qualified. So, gosh, 2 sprinters in a team for New Zealand. Julian Weir finished in 3rd place in 23.16. Qualifying standard met with delight from everyone here by Daniel Hunter. And I bet he's relieved. Are you on a box down there somewhere, Glenn?
Yes, I am. No, well, no, I'm not on a box, John. Thank you. We'll have words later. Daniel Hunter, it's all about Daniel and Sam at the moment. Daniel, congratulations.
Oh, yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, good race, Sam. He showed me how to do it this morning, and then I just followed his lead tonight, so, yeah.
Well done. And Sam, congratulations getting the job done this morning too. Well done.
Really relieved. Pretty gutted for Dan this morning. Put a bit of pressure on himself and all his fans, I'm sure. But I'm really happy he can join me and come to Hungary.
Fantastic. Daniel, you were so close to the Olympics last year. Weighing on your mind tonight?
Oh, 100%. I mean, last year it was 0.04 and this year 0.01. You know, it's just didn't really want it to be another repeat, so it's good to get that out of the way and qualify, so, yeah.
2 Kiwis in the same event. How good is that, Sam?
Yeah, it's great. I'm not sure if we've ever had 2 guys in the 53 before, so really happy we can get the sprinting going down here. Yeah.
Well, what's the deal with the 50 metres freestyle? Why are we so good at the 50 metres freestyle at the moment?
Oh, because you got guys like this pushing you along. No, it's good. So we've just got a good competition base. Like it's hard like last year, obviously, training in different or racing in different places for trials. So it's good to have them here this year and pushing me along.
Well done, Daniel. Well done, Sam. Congratulations. Wonderful effort, guys.
Yeah, and it's met with great support and applause and enjoyment from the entire audience here. And just on that question, we have had a couple of sprinters in a 50 metres at the Olympics, haven't we? Swimming in the same event.
You know, talking about that though, I think that is a monkey
tell us who they are.
Well, I just really wanted to talk about Daniel Hunter there because I think it is a monkey off his back, the fact that he's done it, and I think he acknowledged that. But it was great that they both praised each other. They almost trying to pass the buck on to each other and tell everybody how good the other swimmer was.
Yeah, And that's something New Zealand hasn't been able to afford, is it? Having top swimmers in the same event. It just doesn't happen often enough, and we find swimmers doing it on their own a lot. But this is so encouraging for both Hunter and Perry.
Yeah,
and others who are swimming in the
periodically over the years we've had that, when we've had Willie Benson, Orinoco Farmasili Bunce, you know, in the 50 freestyle and the 100 freestyle, and of course that very good relay team that we had at the Olympic Games. So, you know, we have had some really good sprinters up there, but it is great that we've got it at a national championships.
Well, we had a look then at the B final, men's 50 free. Königsberger in lane 4 from Howick Pakuranga. It's an 18-year-old. Matt Hyde is to his left in lane 3 from Matamata, and Tyron Henry, 15-year-old. Impressed with him from Howick Pakuranga. He won all the age group titles in the freestyle a couple of weeks ago, and he swims out of lane 5. This is the B final, men's 50 meters freestyle as they surface. It's hard to pick, really is. Red cap, which is Howick Pakuranga. That's black cap of Howick Pakuranga in 4 and also in 5. So Königsberger and Henry, maybe Henry gets there. No, it's out here in lane number 7 from Mount Wellington, Isaiah Japija. Wow, from Mount Wellington, 17 years of age and winning the B final. He swam a 24.58 this morning in the heats, and he gets up to knock over the middle swimmers in this B final.
And a good improvement on his own heat swim from this morning too. But gee, you could almost put a blanket over that field, couldn't you, as they came into the wall.
Very happy young man clambers out as we watch his start. So he was in lane 7.
Yeah, this 50 freestyle traditionally is you have to be very, very tall, very lanky, lean. He just doesn't reflect that. No. But still a great swim. We don't even see him there, but look at the turbulence off their legs. Just massive bow waves.
That's him closest to the bottom of the screen here. How did he get up to win it from that situation? Now, oh, well, he's won it, and he's delighted, lying back on the ropes. Women's 50 meters freestyle A final. Wow. There we go. With Gabrielle Farmasili. Already a qualifying time this morning with a 25.02. The national record there at 25.01, set 7 years ago by Hayley Palmer. That'll be something that Farmasili might look at attacking. So here she goes, really a stunning, powerful sprinter.
Yeah, she's traditionally what we call a drop-dead sprinter, but I think she's really worked on that with her coach, Igor Poliansky, and she's improved the back end of her swim. So we're not seeing the same drop-dead nature of the way she went out. She'd always be out there in the first 25 meters by such a big margin, and the others would come back at her. But I think she's controlling it a little bit more now. She's a lovely girl. You love a young lady.
Letitia Lee Transom, a 15-year-old from Icebreaker Club, is swimming in lane 5, and it's good to see the name Letitia. It's an old-fashioned, I only know that because one of my grandmothers was called Letitia, and I don't see that name at all very much these days. So there she goes, Letitia Lee Transom, 15 years of age, from Icebreaker. Ella Kossel of Capital is in 3. Explosive off the blocks. Gabrielle Farmasili, that's one of her strengths. And she's into her work instantly. And she already has created a bit of an advantage.
Well, the interesting thing is whether or not she can break the New Zealand record. She's already got the monkey off her back. She's qualified for the World Championships. This is going to be a fantastic finish. She's just got to hold on.
She's already qualified. She hits the wall there in a 25.26. 25.26. Just outside the time she set this morning. But my word, she was hunting it again. She'll be disappointed, actually, I think, because she really wanted to go out and have another go at that qualifying standard and the New Zealand record. But it's not going to be long before that goes with this girl.
Yeah, you saw just how much she was ahead of the record, and we talked about the, the fact that she's a drop-dead sprinter. You sort of kind of saw that a little bit here tonight. She was well ahead of that line, and then it just ran away from her in the last few meters. But still a very good swim. So a nice dive there. She streamlines well off the wall, and when she breaks out, just watch it. She just explodes out. See, that's a lovely, lovely breakout. And from this moment, just all power. Look at the surge of water as she comes into the wall. Now just tying up there a little bit. You can see the stroke rate just slows down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, and just slow that she was ahead of that line, and I'm sure she was possibly aware of that. Sadly, they can't see the line on the water. It would be a great advantage to them. Gabrielle Fa'amausili, 25.26, slightly slower than this morning, but it won't be long, I'm sure, before she's up there as the New Zealand record holder. Letitia Lee-Transom was second. Madeline Faulkner was in third place. And Glenn, let's hear from Gabrielle.
Yeah, Gabrielle, congratulations on winning the national title. Not quite as fast this morning, though. What happened?
I don't know. I just think I was a bit too relaxed tonight after qualifying this morning. So
big achievement, wasn't it, this morning, eh?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to get to the World Championships in the 50 metres freestyle? Because, of course, you're well known as a backstroker, of course.
I think it's like 50 frees. It's a nice, fun race for me, and it'll be cool to race against the big guns overseas. So, yeah, I'm really happy with that.
How are you feeling about the 100 back later on tonight?
Feeling good. Yeah, no, it should be good.
Good one, Gabrielle. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I bet she is. She's feeling very relaxed. And as she said, getting it out of the road this morning was such a weight off the shoulders, and now she's away to a World Championship. Hasn't been to an Olympics before. World Championships have eluded her. She's 17. And now we see the women who will compete in the 50 metres freestyle B final.
We're just coming back to Gabrielle. We should actually acknowledge that she's a former world youth champion as well, but that was in the 50 metres backstroke.
Starting on in this event, Claudia Ashby, Kyla Alexander, Summer Milne, May Tobin, Amy Crosby, Alice Waldo, Georgia Maris is there, and Rebecca Smolcic.
So May Tobin, you see the V, that means she's a visitor from New Caledonia.
We've got a couple from New Caledonia. In fact, we've got a few visitors here from Canada, Australia, Fiji, Cook Islands, Syria, ready to go. Down here was Rebecca Smolcic of United. She's in lane 8. But out in the centre of the pool, we're looking at May Tobin of New Caledonia. Also looking good, Kyla Alexander and Summer Milne, both from United. But we've hit the halfway, and there's a big line across. This will be one of those finishes where you wait for the touch. Lane 4, and maybe out here in lane 7. Let's see who goes. Lane 7, Georgia Maris. Well, she's got a great form behind her from the United club. Georgia Maris back into some very good form again. She was the gold medalist at the 200 free and last year at the Open Championships, and now wins the B final in the women's 50.
So nice start by Georgia Maris. She's, as John indicated, pretty experienced. Probably hasn't had the best national championships. You'll see here the young New Caledonian swimmer, just not the same power as we saw in the A final and Gabrielle Fa'amausili. But Maris just comes in here now, as we see the New Caledonian swimmer just coming into the wall, very flat as she goes in, needs to get onto the side, get a full extension, but again you see the surge of water. And that's the result. Maris taking out the B final, the visitor Tobin in second.
So next up we have a men's para swim. This is the 200 metres individual medley. We've got 5 swimmers, and they're led out by Hamish McLean from Wanaka. He's an SM6, so S for swimming, M for medley, and 6 meaning his disability rating or classification.
Well, Hamish was actually 7th in the Rio Olympics, the Rio Paralympics in the 400 metres freestyle. This is the 200 individual medley, and here's the start list.
Sianopulu, Soloota, Arbuthnot. We've seen some of these swimmers already tonight. David Beck and Hamish McLean. So you see with the SM14, as we mentioned earlier for you, outlining the classification. 14 indicates intellectual impairment. 11 to 13 is visual impairment. We have none of those. Physical impairment rated more serious, 1 to a 10. Hamish McLean a 6, Chris Arbuthnot a 9. .200 individual medley for para swimmers here at the 2017 National Championships. Now the Para World Championships are being held in Mexico in September. Only Sophie Pascoe has indicated that she'll be attending those, but a lot of the others have indicated that they will be wanting to attend and reach the criteria for the IDM Berlin Open or German Open, and there could be quite a sizable team go for that. So we're looking at national records here, big times from them, to see in what sort of shape these swimmers are as to whether they'll be, you know, considered for national selection later.
Oh, most definitely they'll be looking at national records. We talk about the World Championships, and as you said, Sophie Pascoe, that's going to be held in altitude over in Mexico City, so 2,500 meters, I think it is, and so that's going to be a big ask. So she's going to have to do altitude training and extensive altitude training. So she'll go up to Flagstaff and then go straight through to Mexico from there. And then you'll need to be able to do that in order to be able to handle the lighter air, the thinner air.
Arbuthnot is a man who turned at the end of the 100 in second place. It looked like David Beck from Mount Albert Grammar. Soloota from Howick Pakuranga in lane 3.
Well, David Beck actually holds the New Zealand record for S14, and that record is a 2:41.26. Now, interestingly, he went 2:37 in the heats this morning, so he actually smashed his own New Zealand record.
Will be a 3:15.79. One length of the pool swim, 1:44.67 is split after the breaststroke.
So David Beck, Chris Arbuthnot, Soloota. Looking very, very sleek, Chris Arbuthnot. We've seen him already tonight, and Mark commented on what a nice, sleek performance he had. And then watch him finish, come to the wall, timing it, so he uses that left arm to make sure he touches. He gets in, turns around, he's got time to look back and see David Beck to his right. David Beck gets in second, and Tama Soloota, I think that is now finishing in third place.
So David Beck just outside his own New Zealand record that he set this morning, but still a good swim.
And Hamish McLean is just about to finish. As we have a look now at the highlights from this, Chris Arbuthnot, watch him from the start, always a very good man off the blocks. He's got experience now, even though he's only 18, he's had a lot of experience, and he just gets better every year.
Amazing how he retains such beautiful rhythm when you have such an imbalance. A nice flip turn there into his breaststroke. Good streamlining again. Tell you what, this is, you know, you can display this sort of swimming. They're well coached, really well coached. And a nice left arm finish.
Just looking at the times for you. 2:30.07 for Arbuthnot. David Beckett, 2:39.05. Solowuta, 2:43.6. Hamish McLean, 3:0.26, just outside his national record. And Sione Pulu was in 5th place.
So this is a former Olympic gold medalist, Igor Polyansky, the coach of the United Swimming Club. He's passing on some tips. Of course, he's just seen Gabriel Fahamasili win the 50 metres freestyle, who he coaches.
Next up, we'll have the women's 200 metres individual medley. Just the 2 competitors in this, and one of them is one of our most outstanding para swimmers, having attended the Rio Olympics, where she finished with a gold and a bronze medal. We'll see these 2 swimmers. Here they go. This is Nikita Howarth, SM7 category, and she will swim in lane 4, and alongside of her will be Melissa Donahue in SM6 from Cambridge at 29 years of age. So these are the 2 swimmers in this, the women's 200 individual medley. Coached by Simone Main. She's the youngest New Zealand Paralympian at the Paralympics in 2012.
Fantastic gold that she won as well.
Yes. At 18 years of age now, Nikita Howarth on the blocks in lane 4, and Melissa Donahue in 5. She really became a prominent feature in the sporting pages during the Rio Paralympic Games last year. Nikita Howarth with a gold medal and a bronze, really swimming beyond her previous expectations and results. And in this sort of form, she is going to be hard to beat wherever she swims this year, be it the German Open later in the year, which is probably going to be the case. There are some events at the Commonwealth Games as well. But Nikita Howarth, I had the pleasure of seeing her at Government House over Waitangi Day, Mark, and she was there and she was surrounded by people. All sorts of sports fans just wanted to have a chat to her because they didn't know Nikita Howarth, but they'd seen her at the Paralympics. She made a big impact.
Yeah, as you said, the youngest member of the team, and she won the gold in this event, the 200 individual medley. She holds the New Zealand record at 2:57.90.
The impairments we mentioned, or you might have missed that, but we have the class which is SM means individual medley, so you've seen those letters before these events. The events outside of the medley have just an S, and the breaststroke has an SB, so that's just for you to understand exactly what the events are. So an SM, and then the physical impairment, which is what both these young swimmers have, an SM7 and an SM6, and their classes go from 1 to 10, with the lower number indicating the more severe activity limitation, and 10 being the least. So Howarth an SM7, and some of these athletes, of course, the impairments are clearly visible.
Of course, the interesting thing too is they can be reclassified into the different categories as well. So you can start off and be classified as SM6, say, and then you just get reclassified into SM7. From my understanding, it depends on how they judge it.
Here she is, coming to the end of this 200 metres individual medley.
So 2:57.90 is the New Zealand record at the time that she set in winning the gold medal over in Rio. So obviously the shorter limb, which is her left arm, you'll notice that it just strokes through the water that much faster, and of course she's got to maintain that timing. So the majority of her pull was on the right hand, so she's much more right hand dominant.
3:02.62 for Nikita Howarth. And Melissa Donoghue is coming towards the end of the third 50. That's the breaststroke.
Gosh, it was some fantastic results over in Rio for this para team.
Oh.
Just amazing. 6 gold medals, 3 of them by Sophie Pascoe,
Yep.
with a world record in there as well.
Yep.
Cameron Leslie, of course, also a world record.
Saw him here just yesterday or this morning. He was
Not swimming at this meet.
No. And of course, Mary Fisher not here for these events either. But as we've heard from the administration, a lot of the swimmers, some of them are actually finishing education. They're doing other things, and because it is a full-on task, isn't it, representing New Zealand at swimming, and with the Olympics last year and with World Championships, and then next year there's further events.
They're also really trying to target a lot of these athletes to get them into these national championships, and of course so many of them are targeting this German meet, which they will be named later on. So that's what so many of them are aspiring to, and of course the depth is improving all the time.
Yep. Melissa Donoghue from Cambridge, coached by Sue Woods.
Sue Woods, head coach, she'll be edging her on.
She swam with a 4:33.74. That was her entry time. And she now touches in second place. So there she is, Melissa Donoghue. Nikita Howarth wins it, this fabulous Olympian, Paralympian.
So once again, you'll just see the fact that she has to pull much more harder on her right-hand side. Obviously, it's a longer limb. And again, you just have to time that turn. Lovely flip turn, so she's done that and executed that extremely well. Good pull out under the water. Lifts those shoulders as high as she can and then accelerates forward. So a more conventional flip turn, rather than a flip turn, just a standard turn. This is Nikita coming in to finish.
Four para events tonight, and that is the fourth of them, the women's 200 metres individual medley. Nikita Howarth and Melissa Donoghue competing in this event. Well, the crowd has certainly been treated to some very impressive swims tonight. Further qualifiers for the World Championships to be held in Budapest in July. And now we move on. Our next race will be backstroke. And in this, we'll have certainly qualifiers already. So Matthew Hutchins is a man who's going to swim later tonight too in the 800 free. That's the last of our events, and he's now chatting with Lauren Boyle.
So Matt, you had a dead heat for first in the 200 metre freestyle last night. That's your second national title for the meet so far. How do you feel the competition's going?
Well, I got off a little bit of a rough start with the 400. I was really happy with my 400 heat. The final didn't go too well, so yesterday going to the 200 was really just trying to change up my mentality and enjoy it a little bit more. I think that kind of showed. And I had a really good swim in my 200, so that really picked me up from the night before. So I think, you know, rough start, but definitely trending in the right direction for my meet. So.
Right, and tonight you have the 800 metre freestyle. The qualifying time for the World Championship team is 7 minutes and 54 seconds. How tough is that?
It'll be tough. I definitely think it's in my range, though. You know, I've definitely gotten better at swimming the distance stuff, long course over the last 12 or so months. And I think 800 is probably that distance that kind of suits me perfectly. So I'm excited to get in and give it a shot, because we don't get to swim the 800 very often. So.
Right, you're swimming the 800 metre and the 1500 metre at these championships. Which would you say is stronger for you?
Well, I'd probably say the 1500 more, just so because I swim it more often, like I said. But I think the 800 is probably my better shot at maybe qualifying. So.
And it was only 12 days ago that you finished competing in the US National NCAA Championship competition. How was it traveling to the Southern Hemisphere?
It's been kind of a quick turnaround. It's always a little bit rough, just kind of mentally resetting and getting ready to go again. But luckily I got in here like 3 days before the meet, which was more than enough time to adjust to the time zones and stuff. But it's a really quick turnaround, so it's taken a lot to kind of take a step back and get ready to race again at a high level. So,
well, good luck tonight. We'll all be cheering for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Certainly will be, not just people here, but watching on the television as well, cheering and hoping that he can really crack it tonight. Some medal ceremonies have already taken place here tonight, and they cap off such wonderful performances as of the gold, silver and bronze. Another gold medal for Emma Robinson after the 400 freestyle, and she swam that very well, just outside the qualifying standard, but relaxed because she is already a qualifier. We had 4 para swimmers, Arbuthnot receiving his medal, and there we see some of our big names again, headed by Sophie Pascoe there. And the crowd watched and enjoy it, and the swimmers front up, get their medals, and now attention turns back to the pool. We've got some big races coming for you here from Auckland. We've got more swims to go here tonight at the New Zealand National Open Swimming Championships being held here at the Sir Owen Glen National Aquatic Centre. We've had a national record, we've had more qualifiers, and one of those qualifiers, not tonight, but she did swim tonight, but she did qualify in the 800 metres freestyle on Monday night. The first night of competition was Emma Robinson, and she now chats with Lauren.
Emma, you had a great race on day one. You qualified for the World Champs in the 800 free. How was it to qualify first up?
It was amazing. I mean, it takes a lot of the pressure off, and it's always hard going out on the first day and getting there because you don't know where you quite are with your swimming, so it's great to be able to qualify on the first day.
And tonight you have another opportunity to qualify in the 400 metres freestyle. What are you expecting from that race?
Well, for me to qualify, I'd need to do a PB, so I'd really like to do a PB, and that would be great.
And you're currently training in the Gold Coast at the Southport School Club. What's your favourite thing about training in the Gold Coast?
I mean, I hate to say the weather, but it's always beautiful. It's warm. We train outdoors, so it doesn't really get much better when you get to swim outdoors.
And who's your coach over on the Gold Coast?
So my coach is Chris Nesbitt. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
I think Emma finding it just a little bit amusing because she's chatting with Lauren and they've swum against each other and with each other for so many times. We've got a few qualifiers now. We started the day with 6. Let's have a look at who's going off to Budapest. Helena Gasson did it again today, but Corey Main, Emma Robinson, Matt Stanley, Sam Perry, Gabrielle Farmasili, Bradley Ashby and Helena Gasson. So that's 8 there, isn't it? And Daniel Hunter, of course, in that stunning 50 metres freestyle tonight. So let's hope there are more names at the bottom of that page before we go away. One of those already on there is Corey Main, who qualified in the 200 metres backstroke. And he'll be contesting this next final. A New Zealand record held by Gareth Keane, who went off to the Olympics in London. An outstanding career, Gareth Keane. Was talk that he might have just been taking a break at the time, but it's been a permanent one. Here we see the list. And in lane 4 is Corey Main. In lane 3 is brother Bailey. Cornell Coetzee is in lane 5. Back from the States in lane 1 is Kane Follows. Here we're swimming out of lane 1, Willie Coetzee in lane 2. So here is Corey Main. 200 backstroke World Championship qualifying time in the bag already, so he'll be relaxed.
Well, as relaxed as you possibly can be. He wants to do it in this 100 backstroke.
So in lane 5, it's Cornel Coetzee. His brother Wilrick is in lane 2. In lane 1, Kane Follows, whose father Daryl has been New Zealand selector and was also a very fine backstroker himself. And like many ex-swimmers, they're fronting up for the Masters Games, the World Masters Games here soon. Trembath is in lane 8, Kropp in 7, Kennard Campbell in 6.
Have a look at the ledges that these swimmers now are using. A new innovation in the sport for a couple of years now, but they just get so much more height off the walls.
The qualifying standard is 54.06. The New Zealand record 53.32. Corey Main did a 54.13 this morning. Not far off that qualifying time. Can he do it again? They're away very evenly. So Corey Main is in 4 and Bailey Main is in 3. The Coetzee brothers are in lanes 2 and 5.
Well, it was actually Bailey Main that had the better start, but Corey's starting to get into his work rate. 26.70. That's a little bit slower than what he swam this morning. Bailey Main very dominant off the start, but Corey Main now that was a fantastic turn, and he looks as if he's really starting to wind it up. Have a look at the stroke rate.
20 metres to go in lane 4. Corey Main Already a qualifier in the 200. He's looking for that line. He's groping for that line. Gets there, hitting the wall, and just outside perhaps. Corey Main a 54.4. The world qualifying standard 54.06. So he dips out just outside that. Very good swim too from the two Coetzee brothers. I think Cornel got in second place, Willie in third place, and Bailey Main finishing in fourth. But Corey Main 54.4, and he is the national champion in the 100 backstroke.
Interesting, isn't it? Two brothers in each of this race, the Coetzees and also the Mains. But a very, very good start by the younger of the Mains. That was Bailey Main. Corey Main just starting here a little bit slower. You can see he's pushing a lot of water with the shoulders. Needs to just get them up a little bit higher. But he's a beautiful 200 backstroker, Corey Main. He may be just trying to force this a little bit too much over the 100.
Turns, has a look. There's the Main parents looking on. They've already had plenty to cheer about, and it's great that the two sons are swimming so well. Corey in first place, Bailey in fourth, the Coetzees in second and third, Crop fifth, Kennard Campbell follows. It's a good personal best from him as well. Trembath in eighth place. That's the top 8 in the men's 100 backstroke. Corey Main the champion again. Swimmers now emerging for the second of the men's 100 backstroke finals. It's the B final. That world record set by Ryan Murphy last year, 51.85. That's a massive swim by him. And here's the starting lineup. Selman, Campbell, Jeffcoat, James is in lane 4, Anderson, Churches, Watkins, Dorrington. The B finalists in the men's 100 back. So Cameron James from the Aquagym. Yeah,
very famous club. Anna Simsek came from the Aquagym club, coached by Brett Naylor. Of course, Brett's not coaching the club anymore. He's retired. Celebrated his 60th birthday the other day.
Yeah, and he can't keep away from it, can he? I know he was ringing you earlier tonight.
He loves the sport. Definitely loves
the sport.
And an outstanding coach.
Cameron James, Aquagym in 4. Jack Anderson, United in 5. Andrew Jeffcoat, Fairfield in 3. This is the men's B final, the 100 backstroke. We've seen that A final go through with the Mains and Coetzee brothers dominating, filling all first 4 places. And now we'll keep an eye on Cameron James in lane 4 here. He's not having it all his own way. He's just starting to emerge now ahead of Jeffcoat of Fairfield.
And also Jack Anderson from the United Club in lane number 5, but it is now in lane number 4, Cameron James. He's going to turn first with a 27.14. Fraction slower as Anderson, and Jeffcoat in 3rd.
Now Cameron James gets that advantage. Looking at that green line, which indicates the slowest of the previous swimmers in the A final.
Oh, wow, look at Anderson. Yeah. Anderson just rolling over the top. That's a nice feeling if you're able to do it. It's a horrible feeling for the person that just got rolled over, and that was James. But a good victory there from Anderson, Jack Anderson from the United Club, the 18-year-old.
0.27 of a second ahead of Cameron James. And in 3rd place was Andrew Jeffcoat from lane 3. He's out of the Fairfield Club. Had a very good National Age Group Championships as well. 2nd in all the backstroke events at the Age Group Championships.
So you just see he just sunk a little bit before he surged off the start, but he did go in cleanly. We're getting a good look here of the turn here. Anderson came up on the turn. They went over just fraction, 0.2 of a second behind Anderson was. And then James came out of it really strongly, pushed it along, but then got rolled over at the last stages of the race. You notice a lot of backstrokers, what they wear is a clip on their nose, because it's very easy to take a lot of water up your nose. It's just a horrible feeling. So a lot of them will wear a nose brace.
Anderson, James and Jeffcoat, 57.24, 5-1, 7-5. Those for the first three in the B final. Well, we keep talking about races that we're looking forward to, and we know a lot of these people are staying on to watch this race tonight. It's the women's 100 backstroke. We've seen Glenn Lama chatted to Gabrielle Farmasili, and he said to her, how do you feel about the 100 back? And she just laughed and said, oh, I feel really good, because she's in that frame of mind where she's qualified. No matter what happens tonight, she's going to be in that New Zealand team. Not so Bobby Gishard, who has been one of our outstanding backstrokers, and she swims out of lane 4, and between the two of them, can we get a qualifying standard?
Well, John, we've talked about the competition and how healthy it is. These two, Bobby Gishard and Gabrielle Farmasili, have had a fantastic battle over the years in the 100 and 200 backstroke, or more so in the 100 backstroke, because that's what Farmasili is better for. Gishard is more prominent in the 200. She won the 200 backstroke, but I think it was a disappointing time, and she knows it was a disappointing time. Spoke to her earlier on. She's pretty confident here.
Right. Well, that's what I need to be.
This is the winner of the 50 freestyle, Gabrielle Farmasili.
She's the title holder.
Look at this.
Wow, listen to that noise. There's a real amount of interest in this. Swimmers have stayed around. The swimmers supporting these two. Farmasili from United, Howard Pakaranga's Gishard, both 17 years of age.
Well, too, John, they both went under the New Zealand 17 years age group record this morning in the heats.
What sort of start do we get? Farmasili goes deeper, comes up. There goes Gishard, breaking in first place. This has to be absolutely perfect from whoever wins this race if they are to better the World Championship qualifying standard. Gishard, Farmasili.
Well, Gishard actually looks really strong over this first 50 metres. Normally this is where Farmasili will dominate. 29.9. We want to see them go through, maybe even a bit less over the first 50. 29.7 it is. Gishard, 0.01 of a second. 1/100th of a second. Farmasili is behind. And this is now where it's really going to start to hurt. The three of them actually are right there now. Farmasili, Gishard, and also Goodwin.
Bobby Gishard led at the 50. Now she extends. Farmasili is not spent. Remember how good she can finish. Gishard, is she holding up form? Gishard is going to win it ahead of Farmasili. In third place was Galloway, but they couldn't get that time. She is disappointed, dreadfully disappointed. It's etched all over her face. Bobby Gishard, a 1:01.45. That's not what she wanted, not what she's capable of, and not what she expected tonight. Slower than her heat this morning.
Yeah, she'll be extremely disappointed with that. I thought she looked very good over the first 50 metres, probably expecting Farmasili to be a little bit more ahead, a little bit more aggressive over the first 50. I guess Gabrielle was probably holding back a little bit because she just raced a 50 freestyle, and she actually raced a pretty smart race, but it is definitely Gishard that dominated in the latter stages. Held a stroke together very well. You can see the just breathing out of her nose, making sure water doesn't go up there. But again, you almost can see she just gave in at the end. You could almost see it on her face written in there.
Well, it was very much so. Her expression at the end of it was obvious. So Gishard wins the title. She gets it back. 1:01.45 though, and not the time she was seeking. So last year, those results were reversed. Gabrielle Farmasili finishes in second place this time. Gina Galloway, this 16-year-old who won this at the age group championships, a 17-year-old champion, is in third place. That's the women's 100 backstroke final. Wow, a bit quieter. The audience really was hoping, at least, that there'd be something rather special out of that. And it was a very good swim, obviously.
Well, we were hoping for something.
Yeah. We sort of were almost building up to this, weren't we? Thinking this is going to be one of those races that's going to get us going.
Well, it was a good race. That, you know, it was competitive. In fact,
Yeah.
the three of them were competitive.
So now it's the B final. Alice Waldo in lane 1, Annabelle Simpson, Cassie Wright, Greta Agnew and Lucy Agnew, Rebecca Chain, Maggie Franks, Rebecca Smolcic in lane 8. So the United Caps of Greta and Lucy Agnew will line up alongside each other. Lucy is in 5 and Greta in 4.
Well, Alice Waldo in lane 1 is only 14 years of age. Her mother was a Canadian representative in water polo. In fact, she was one of the best players in the world, an outstanding water polo player.
This is the B final, women's 100. We're into the penultimate race of the night. 1 to go. And we see Waldo in lane 1 up at the top, the black cap, then Simpson from North Wave. Next to her, Cassie Wright in lane 3 as we come to the wall for the first time. Greta Agnew in lane 4. Lucy is in lane 5, Lucy Agnew. And down here too in Rebecca Chain of Pukekohe. She touches in 3rd place. So that's the way they go. Greta Agnew, Lucy Agnew, Rebecca Chain at the 50.
Well, so many United swimming caps out here, and they're coached so beautifully by Igor Poliansky, a former Olympic Games gold medalist in the 200 backstroke himself.
Lane 4, lane 5, Greta Agnew in 4, Lucy Agnew in 5. These two have got it sorted. Strong finish from Annabelle Simpson up in lane number 2. And down here, Rebecca Chain. So it doesn't change from the first 50. It's still Greta Agnew, Lucy Agnew and Rebecca Chain. That's a women's B final in the 100 backstroke.
So the Agnew girls looked very good, and this is in lane number 4, Greta Agnew, a 16-year-old.
Just a year between them. Lucy is 17, and the woman who finished in 3rd place, Rebecca Chain from Pukekohe, is also 17.
See how she's just holding that head back there. Nice body rotation. Legs just following the body. She's holding the head in a very good still position, and it's right back, so she's getting her momentum going forward all the time. Well, I suppose that's a bit ironic, isn't it, going forward, going backwards in that sense.
104.22, 104.57 for the Agnews, and 104.94 for Rebecca Chain. That's the final 100 backstroke event of the night, the B final for women. We've got a final race tonight. Of all the races we've seen, this one holds the most questions, I suppose, Mark, because when we look at them, we'll have a look at the lineup in a short time and be able to talk you through it. It's 800 metres, so about 8 minutes or so of swimming for these swimmers. The New Zealand record set a couple of years ago in a stunning swim by Nathan Capp. He was just extraordinary that night. 7:57. The qualifying time, though, just to show how difficult this is 7:54.31.
Well, to be fair, John, this is a non-Olympic Games event. The longest event for men is the 1500. They don't swim the 800 at the Olympic Games or the Commonwealth Games, but it is at the World Championships. And so, as we heard earlier on, Matthew Hutchins doesn't get to swim this event very often. He's come from the NCAA, the intercollegiate program in the States, only 3 weeks ago, and he's been swimming yards, 25 yards. So a big transition to go to suddenly from 25 yards into 50-metre swimming.
That's Zach Reed. And Zach Reed finished third or fourth, in fact, in the 200 freestyle, but was pipped for third by one of the visitors, so he in fact gets the bronze medal for that. That was last night. So Zach Reed, so we'll have a look at their ages, where they're from, and relevant information about them as we look also at the splits. Mark will give you some indication, really, as if they're looking for, you know, New Zealand record or the qualifying standard where they need to be. So it's Hutchins, the class swimmer in this group. He's swimming out of lane 4, representing the Wharanui Club. He went to the Olympics last year. He was the gold medalist in the 400 meters freestyle here last night.
Second in the 200 freestyle, and he really had a fantastic 200 meters freestyle final.
But he's a real talent, and he's someone that we're New Zealand swimming is, of course, watching very closely.
I thought he interviewed extremely well as well. He presented himself extremely professionally.
I like the way he did say, you know, full of confidence for this. You know, you never know, but I'm feeling in great nick, and this is well within my capability. So that's setting it up, and we'll just hope that he can manage that. And Mark will give you some indications of the lap times as we see the smooth style of Matthew Hutchins. 800 meters freestyle. He turns to his left. There is Zach Reed, who was swimming in lane 5, and Zach is from the Aquablades New Plymouth. He's third in the 400 meters freestyle at the age groups. He's 17. He won the 1500 and was second to both the 200 and 400 free. That was at the national age groups at the Kilburnie Aquatic Centre in Wellington just a couple of weekends ago, or a couple of weeks ago. So he's in second place. So Hutchins leads. Quite a sizable lead now, 2 body lengths. Back to Reed. In third place is Scott. That's Matt Scott from Enterprise. Open water champion and 10K gold medalist. So he's very much an open water swimmer. These sorts of swims are what they can do in the pool, just to keep that pool competitiveness going.
John, as you said, Hutchins was at the Olympic Games, and he swam a PB, a personal best time in the 400 meters, and that's a pretty big ask to go along to the Olympics and actually produce a personal best. I know that's what we're aspired to all of our athletes to do, but he was one of the few that achieve it. And in fact, if you have a look across the board, in fact, of all countries and all swimmers, very few do personal bests at the Olympic Games. He was one that did it in the 400 freestyle. So it was his first major international competition, and he performed, and that's a great credit to him.
Hutchins coming to the wall again now and turning. Good power off the wall, quickly into his work. There's Reed and Scott second and third.
Hutchins has to hold around about a 59.3 if he wants to go to the World Championships in this event. And if he does that, he's going to break the New Zealand record as well. And so that would be a massive achievement. Well, he went to 58.9 over the last 100, but this is early days. You'll see that he's well in front of the line at this stage. But of course, that line also indicates, probably doesn't reflect that he's almost had a 2-second advantage off the dive in the first 100 meters. He's just dropped down now to a 59.7. So he's still on target. He's just let it slip a little bit. I'd like to see more of a 59.3. So this is the 300 and coming up to 350 meters. So 16 lengths of the pool. So you'll notice that he's got what we call a 4-beat kick. It's not a massive acceleration off his legs, but it's quite reflective and quite prominent in terms of how it's just balancing his stroke.
So watching Matthew Hutchins in control in this race. We'll keep an eye on that, but in the meantime, special guest here tonight watching very closely is Mike Stanley, and he's with Glenn.
John, yes, Mike Stanley, the president of the New Zealand Olympic Committee. Nice to see you here, and good to see our top swimmers going for it here tonight.
Oh, excellent. Always good to be here at a world-class meet like this, and wonderful to see so many qualifiers tonight.
Yeah, quite good, eh? Brad Ashby, Helena Gasson, who qualified in 2 events now. And what about that race for the 50 metres freestyle? Mike, that must have been the highlight for you.
Well, to have two men qualify for that 50-metre freestyle, and Daniel Hunter come through Really good. Sam Perry, of course, qualified in the morning. And you know, these are young people coming through, so they're really benefiting from the program that's here that New Zealand Swimming has put together, and you know, it's really good to see.
It's a tough sport, isn't it, Mike? You know, it really is a tough sport. Very competitive on a world scale, and we're trying our best to keep up with some fantastic swimmers right around the world, aren't we?
Oh, that's right. And of course, we've got a number of swimmers in college programs in the United States, but Swimming New Zealand's trying hard to make sure that they can provide local swimmers a really world-class program, and I think that's real confidence that they're doing that.
Good on you, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll get many more swimmers over the next couple of nights to come to get off to the World Championships in Budapest.
Pleasure, and all the very best to them as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, very much. While that chat's been going, you can see in the background that nothing's changed. It's still Matthew Hutchins, Olympian last year. The qualifying standard, we'll just see the line again shortly. It'll show you where he is. But even if the qualifying standard isn't reached, that national record might still be within his grasp. But there's still a wee way to go. We're looking at a 7:54. That's the national record, the blue line, which he's ahead of. And that was a stunning solo swim by Nathan Kapp a couple of years ago.
Well, to be fair, John, this is also a solo swim.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have, 25 metres, 20 metres at least, if not more, over the rest of the field. He's just fallen off the pace in terms of qualifying for the World Championships. That was a 60.7, 100.7. I think he needs to hold a 59.3 on average over each 100 metres.
So that he went in 8:12. I'm not sure it's a personal best, but he'll need to swim that, obviously, because the national record is a 7:57.61. That qualifying time is 3 seconds, over 3 seconds faster than our national record. So when I said at the start, these times, qualifying times are tough. They're very tough. In some cases, swimmers are going to have to smash national records to reach that qualifying time. Hutchins leading comfortably, obviously. Zach Reed, Matt Scott still battling it out for second and third.
And gee, they've got a big advantage over the rest of the field as well. So a good battle for second and third, but it's very much Matthew Hutchins. He's got 100 metres to go. He'll get the bell. He's just on the New Zealand record. He needs to pick it up a little bit. 60.7, so he's being very consistent. He's coming off the walls very well, but you'll notice now his body tempo has just increased. He's gone to a 6-beat kick periodically, and you'll see him rise up in the water that little bit more. So he's trying everything over this last 50, 60 odd metres that he's got left to swim.
That'll see him a long way. 7:24. He comes to the wall now in a 7:28. Turns, Hutchins leads. The qualifying time is beyond him now, but he was close to that national record. Is he still with it? He is. He is still with that New Zealand record of 7:57.61, but he still needs to finish strongly. He's got 20 metres to go.
Yeah, look at how
high.
Yep, he's going to break the New Zealand record. I think he'll be right there, but look at the 6-beat kick now.
He's giving it everything, and almost like he rides a wave to the end. Fantastic finish by Matthew Hutchins. He has broken the New Zealand record, 7:56.93, 7:56.93. That's 3/4 of a second faster than the New Zealand record, but he was looking for more. He was looking, you could tell by his reaction, he wanted that qualifying standard. New New Zealand record to this man here, over 800 metres.
But
Matthew Hutchins.
I think this is the fact that he swum in a 50-metre pool, swum the 800, will help his 1500. He'll know what he needs to do now to put it together in his favoured event, the 1500. And I think that he'll be buoyed. This is a personal best for him. It's an event that he doesn't swim a lot. He has to swim it alone. He'll have to swim the 1500 alone as well. But a very, very confident, boosting swim. Yes, he'll be disappointed, but it's still a good swim.
Yeah, put that in the memory bank and bring it out later on. So Matthew Hutchins, Rio Olympian, has won the 400 metres freestyle, and now he has won the 800.
And also one of only 2 New Zealand Open records as well, so we should acknowledge that. Great start, very good streamline into the water, and you've got to remember it's a 800 metres, 16 lengths of the pool. Nice catch out in front. See how he's reaching there? The fingers are a little bit apart, just pressing down on the water, feeling for the water. We talk about that in swimming, the feel of the water. Nice shot there. Great photography now, isn't it? Cameraman doing a great job. But you can see the hand just going out there, searching for what we call still water, trying to grip it and then let the body travel over the hand. Nice turn, staying quite tight under the turbulence as he came off it. And this is the point where he started to increase the tempo, and then the last little part, great last 50 metres. So there's the result. Matthew Hutchings, Zach Reed in second, and Matthew Scott. So New Zealand record and a personal best time. Congratulations, Matthew.
Well, he might have looked a bit disappointed when he climbed out of the pool, but well, let's find out if he really is disappointed, Glenn.
Thank you, John. And Matt Hutchins is with me. Matt, congratulations, 3-time national champion at these championships, but you didn't get the qualifying time. So I guess mixed feelings for you?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, kind of thought the 800 was probably one of my best shots. So, you know, super happy with the time because I don't swim the 800 very much, but, you know, a little bittersweet, I guess. So
it is an effort to get a New Zealand record in any discipline. 800 metres, you've got to pace yourself really well. You realise you had a crack maybe midway, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the race?
Yeah, I felt pretty good going through halfway. You know, maybe about 600 started to hurt a little bit more than I hoped, and couldn't really power home. But, you know, I was kind of, you know, I had my heart set on the time, so I knew if I was going to be near that, the record was, you know, on the books. So.
All right, Matt, well, well done on getting 3 titles anyway. Still a great achievement, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it was an outstanding achievement. And you see Gary Francis there, one of the coaches of the para swimmers, and they've performed exceptionally well tonight too, providing further highlights. And the meeting is at an end. We've got some medal ceremonies to go. And some that we saw a bit earlier on, the medals being presented here. We've seen some great swims tonight. We've seen further qualifiers with Perry and Hunter and Farmer-Celia Gasson there receiving her gold medal. Here's Daniel Hunter, very relieved that he's cracked that 50-metre freestyle time. So 2 New Zealand swimmers in the 50. He and the man to his right, Sam Perry. Gabriel Farmer-Celia qualifying earlier today, but winning another gold medal in the 100. Now, she's been very impressive. Others too today have swum exceptionally well. The list continues to grow with our qualifiers, and there's an ex-New Zealand swimmer there, Andrew McMillan with the I was going to say with the beard, as if you could work out one's not Andrew McMillan. Anyway, our qualifiers so far at these national championships: Helena Gasson, 50-metre butterfly there. Corey Main, who just missed out on the 100 back tonight, but had previously qualified in the 200. Emma Robinson, that 800 metres freestyle. Matt Stanley with the 200 free. Sam Perry, we mentioned earlier. Gabriel Farmer-Celia. Then Bradley Ashby, a stunning swim in the 200 medley tonight, and Helena Gasson in the women's 200 metres individual medley. And then that one lone name, and we want more names on this page, don't we? The men's 50-metre freestyle, Daniel Hunter winning the title and bettering that qualifying time. Well, we've had plenty for the crowd to get enthusiastic about. Tomorrow we're going to have more of the same here on Sky, starting at 7 o'clock, and with any luck we'll see some more qualifiers. We've got the start with 2 para events, then the men's and women's 100 breaststroke, the women's 50 metres backstroke, another chance here for qualifying, more para events, events 117 and 18, and then we move on to the women's 400 metres individual medley, the 2 butterfly events, the longest of those events, the para 200 freestyles, and then our first relays of the meet, the men's and women's 4x200 freestyles. So we've got plenty to look forward to tomorrow. It has been a very good night. We started with a hiss and a roar. We ended with Matthew Hutchins just missing out on that qualifying time, but setting the second national record of the night. We've loved that tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow here in Auckland.